Sophia, a 28-year-old waitress from a small town in Brazil, always dreamed of exploring the world. Her biggest wish was to visit the United States and experience its iconic landmarks like Times Square and the Golden Gate Bridge. But there was one major hurdle. Sophia's English was extremely limited. She had learned basic words in school, but she struggled to form sentences. Her job at a local cafe exposed her to international tourists, but every interaction reminded her of her shortcomings. Once the tourist asked, "Is this coffee strong?" Sophia had no idea what strong meant and replied with a nervous smile. Her colleague Maria often teased her, saying, "How will you survive in America if you can't even ask for water?" That night, Sophia watched a YouTube video of a traveler exploring New York City. The bright lights and bustling streets captivated her. She whispered to herself, "One day I'll go there." Her dream felt far away, but it ignited a determination in her heart. Sophia decided she had to improve her English, no matter how hard it seemed. Determined to chase her dream, Sophia enrolled in a beginner English course at a local community center. Her teacher, Mr. Carter, started with the basics: greetings, common phrases, and simple questions. The first lesson was overwhelming for Sophia. Words like bathroom and ticket sounded foreign and complicated. "Don't worry, Sophia," Mr. Carter reassured her. "You're here to learn, and every step counts." Sophia practiced every night after work. She wrote down vocabulary words on flashcards, watched English movies with subtitles, and even tried to sing along to English songs. One day, Mr. Carter asked the class, "Can someone describe their favorite food in English?" Sophia hesitated but raised her hand. "I like pizza." "It is very good," she said. Her classmates clapped, and Sophia felt a small surge of confidence. Over the next few months, Sophia's English improved. She wasn't fluent, but she could introduce herself and ask simple questions. She felt ready to take the next step, experiencing the language in its natural environment. After saving money for nearly a year, Sophia finally booked her first international trip, a one-month adventure in the United States. She chose New York City as her starting point, imagining herself walking through Central Park and taking photos of the Empire State Building. Her family was both excited and nervous for her. "What if you get lost?" her mother asked. "I'll figure it out," Sophia replied confidently. To prepare, she packed a small notebook filled with useful phrases like, "Where is the nearest subway station?" and "How much does this cost?" She also downloaded translation apps to help her in emergencies. The night before her flight, Sophia lay awake in bed. She was filled with a mix of excitement and anxiety. What if her English wasn't good enough? What if people couldn't understand her accent? But she reminded herself, "This is my dream. I won't let fear stop me." When Sophia landed at JFK Airport, she was immediately overwhelmed by the noise, announcements, and the sheer number of people. Signs in English surrounded her, and she struggled to keep up with the fast-paced conversations around her. Her first challenge came when she needed to find a taxi. She nervously approached an airport staff member and said, "Excuse me, taxi, where?" The staff member smiled and pointed toward the exit. "Taxis are right outside. Follow the yellow signs." Relieved, Sophia managed to get into a taxi and gave the driver the address of her hostel. As the taxi drove through the city, She marveled at the tall buildings and flashing billboards. Her excitement grew with every passing street, but she also realized how much she needed to improve her listening skills. At the hostel, the receptionist greeted her warmly. "Welcome. Are you here for vacation?" "Yes, I visit," Sophia replied, her words simple but clear. It was a small victory, and she went to bed that night feeling hopeful. The next morning, Sophia began her exploration of New York City. She started with Times Square, where the bright screens and busy crowds left her in awe. She took photos, bought a souvenir keychain, and practiced asking for directions. "Excuse me, where is Central Park?" she asked a street vendor. Though her accent was strong, the vendor understood her and pointed the way. At Central Park, Sophia sat on a bench and listened to conversations around her. She picked up phrases like, "What's up?" and "Let's grab coffee," noting them in her notebook. She also visited museums, where she rented audio guides in English. Although she couldn't understand every word, she learned about art and history while improving her listening skills. Each day was a mixture of excitement and small challenges, but Sophia grew more confident with every interaction. At her hostel, Sophia met other travelers from around the world. Hiro from Japan, Anna from Germany, and Diego from Mexico quickly became her companions. They all communicated in English, using simple words and gestures when necessary. One evening, they decided to cook dinner together. Sophia asked Diego, "How do you say a fork in Spanish?" "Tender," Diego replied. "And in Portuguese?" Their conversations were full of laughter and learning. The group explored the city together, visiting the Brooklyn Bridge and sharing stories about their home countries. Sophia realized that English wasn't about perfection, it was about connecting with people. Not every moment was easy. One day, Sophia got lost in the subway system. She tried asking a commuter for help, but he spoke too quickly for her to understand. Frustrated, she wanted to give up and call an Uber. But then she remembered a phrase Mr. Carter had taught her. "Can you say that slowly?" She approached another person and asked, "Excuse me, how to go to Times Square?" "Slowly, please." This time, the person smiled and gave clear directions. Sophia thanked him and felt proud of herself for not giving up. Moments like these taught her the importance of persistence and creativity in communication. After a month of adventures, Sophia returned to Brazil with a suitcase full of souvenirs and a heart full of memories. Her English was far from perfect, but she had gained confidence and real-world experience. At the cafe, her colleague Maria was amazed. "Wow, Sophia, you sound so much better. Did you really learn that much in 1 month?" "It's not just about learning," Sophia replied. "It's about using what you know. Traveling forced me to speak, even when I was scared." She shared her stories with her friends and encouraged them to step out of their comfort zones. "You don't need to be perfect to start," she said. "Mistakes are part of the journey." Sophia's story proves that learning a language is about courage and persistence. Through travel, she not only improved her English but also gained new perspectives on life. Her journey inspired others in her town to take risks, reminding everyone that the world is full of opportunities for those willing to step out of their comfort zones. All right, please answer the question. On what motivated Sophia to start learning English? 2. What was Sophia's first challenge when she arrived in New York City, and how did she handle it? 3. How did Sophia make new friends during her trip, and what role did they play in her English learning? 4. What lesson did Sophia learn from her experience that she shared with her friends back home? Please leave your answers in the comments below and see how much your listening has improved.